This week on TGC News, a stock with a built-in seatbelt, 2 new 9mm, and boys and girls, it's episode 150! TAC Pack is an enthusiast subscription service that is focused on bringing you stuff you need straight to your door on a monthly basis. Every month is different, and you can be met with gun parts, accessories, cleaning gear, or even some bigger and cooler shenanigans. And because you're watching TGC, if you use the code TGC Knife, you'll get a free folding knife, TGC Tool, and you'll get a free pocket-sized multi-tool, and TGC Grip will get you a free AR grip. Only when you punch those in over at TACPack.com. Welcome back to another episode of TGC News, gun news you actually care about. My name is Jon Patton. This one is special. Boys and girls, this is episode 150 of the Gun Collective News, but we'll get to that a bit later. Let's start off with some regular gun news. How about that? Our first story this week is a bit of an odd one. It's as if a retractable tape measure or a seat belt mated with a single point sling and gave us the WMD Guns SlingStock. The most simple way to explain this is that it's a stock that contains a spring-loaded 7-foot-long roll of webbing attached on the opposite end to a QD swivel, which is attached to a QD rail mount. Think of it as a retractable sling. When you don't need it, it's not there, it's wound up inside the stock. However, the deployment is a bit clunky. Let's let the inventor do the demo.
Hi, I'm Tim Greenwood of WMD Guns. That's why I invented the SlingStock. Brought to you by WMD Guns. You simply slide off, slide on the SlingStock. Fully collapsible, but what makes it so unique is that it has 7 foot of military grade strap webbing contained within it. The SlingStock was designed for duty use.
You see, he actually has to hit a button, then pull out an appropriate amount of slack, hold that slack with his fire control hand, then reach back to hit the button again to lock it all. Only then can the sling be looped around the officer or operator this is intended for. One of the things I do like is the ability to adjust the tension without having to grab a loop and pull. You just push that same locking button and move the gun to take out any slack. It can also be turned into a 2-point sling by taking that rear QD unit, disconnecting it from the stock, and then reattaching it to the rail up front. That QD mount also has a QD swivel mount because there wasn't enough QD for the QD. This product as a whole kind of confused me. I know it's intended for law enforcement or military, but it seems pretty complex for that type of use. It also strikes me as something that would be pretty expensive by nature. Frustratingly enough, there is actually zero info on this on WMD's website, so I went digging. As it turns out, that QD block thing being used to attach the sling to the rail is originally made by a company called Warrior Tech. The guy in the SlingStock video is Tim Greenwood. He's the owner of that company. On the Warrior Tech website, it's made pretty clear on the updates page that the SlingStock concept has been around for a while, actually patented back in 2016, and he found someone to license the product now, aka WMD Guns. This is actually a fairly common practice in the gun industry because not everyone can afford to bring a great idea to life or, more importantly, manufacture, market, and sell that product. Some guys make a career out of this type of thing. And as it turns out, this is not Tim Greenwood's first rodeo. Remember a product by Hornady called the Rapid Rack? Yup, that one was designed by Tim and originally called the Safe Cycle. Now, when it comes to the SlingStock, I'm not going to argue about the merits of single versus double point slings. I'll let you guys do that in the comments. But what I will say is that it's a neat idea at its heart, but it's not for me. I want to know what you guys have to say about this. I know we have a bunch of LE and military guys watching. Drop some knowledge on us in the comments and share your thoughts below. Next, we have a couple new guns for you guys this week. First up, one being imported by Fime Group. I'm sure by now you're all familiar with the Arex Rex 01 pistol. Well, this is the Rex 01 Tactical Compact. Good lord, these names. It has all the same features of the larger gun as you would expect, like an aluminum frame, steel slide, front cocking serrations, ambi safety and mag release, decocker, suppressor height sights, a cutout for a red dot, and 15 round and 17 round mags. If the larger tactical model is any indication, the pricing will be just shy of $900, and that, my friends, is a fair chunk of change when the market has things like the P10C and the TP9 with suppressor-ready options for way less, although those don't have an RMR cut. And speaking of Canik, they've partnered with a company known as one of the OGs of fancy modded Glocks, Salient Arms, to bring us the TP9 Combat Elite. Again, these names, guys. So what makes this one different or better than another TP9? There's a whole bunch of those. What's different about this one? This one has a fluted and nitrided barrel with a 13.5x1 left-hand thread, fiber optic sights, an aluminum magwell, aluminum +3 mag extensions, flat face trigger, full nitride coating under the Cerakote, an extended mag release, and a bunch of slide plates for that optic cut that include a charging handle. All in all, not bad value considering it's priced at $850. I think the point here is kind of multifaceted. It gives Canik customers a way to get a fancier version than normal with a sprinkling of Salient flavor. It also gives Salient a new market, and as far as I'm concerned, they may need it because their reputation has been struggling for a few years now. Oddly enough, though, the only Salient parts here are the barrel sights and magwell. And on top of that, at its core, it's another way to provide customers with something cool. Also, shout out to everyone that gets mad when I talk about anything made in Turkey. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about these new 9mm pistols. They're not cheap, but is there enough value there for you guys to jump on board with them? Now, like I said earlier, this is episode 150 of TGC News. I gotta be honest, when I started doing the show, I wasn't looking this far ahead. I wasn't wondering what it would be like at this milestone. I was just trying to get to the next week and make another good show. Well, I think we've done that. I think we've come a long way. The core of the Gun Collective as a gun media outlet is this very show, this box that I stand in on your phone, on your TV, on your computer, etc. Somehow, regardless of our audience size, we've always been lumped in with some of the biggest gun channels, gun outlets out there. And that is a really cool thing for me personally. For anyone out there to say something like, you guys are my favorite, or I watch you every week, or even, I think I saw you on the internet that one time, that's awesome to me. As of this recording, TGC has 152,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 375,000 fans on Facebook, and 62,000 Instagram followers, and another 12,000 subscribers on Full30.com. And you know what? That's you guys. Those numbers are not just a stat. They represent people that enjoyed something we put out enough to follow and see more of it. And that right there is fantastic. We've covered probably 500 or 600 different products, countless cool ones, and just as many dumb ones. Yeah, I mean, the rubber band holster, that's a classic. You got to go digging for that, but good Lord, that was a good one. And I've answered hundreds and hundreds of your friendly fire questions. This past year was a bit of a rough one for me, but you guys are here and supporting me and the channel and Adam and Izzy, and I love you for it. Also, shout out to Izzy for hammering out a staggering amount of TGC News episodes. At this point, I think he's actually edited more TGC News than I have. Channels with twice the amount of followers don't see the amount of engagement that we see on a regular basis. The tenacity you guys have for information and participation is huge. Every week, TGC News sees hundreds, if not thousands, of comments, likes, and shares all over. That right there is the lifeblood of our growth, and I owe it to you guys at home. We may not be the biggest or make viral videos, but we do make some badass original content and have one of the best audiences anybody could ask for. Thank you for helping us get here. Seriously, it's you guys. I mean, I do part and you guys do a huge part too. Now, without further BS, let's keep things rolling with a good guy and a gun. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. This week, our Good Guy with a Gun story takes us to Fayetteville, North Carolina on August 25th, shortly after 9 p.m. A 29-year-old man named Markel White was exiting a local grocery store with his 2-year-old daughter when a 31-year-old man started following them, cursing at them, threatening them verbally, etc. And when White got to his car and tried to get in to leave, the attacker swung a knife at him. He came at him. It was at this point that White drew his gun and fired a round into the abdomen of the attacker. Unfortunately, the attacker did survive that. This is a really simple story. When pushed into a corner, people will often fight back. A firearm is a force equalizer. It is a tool used to give folks a chance, and this is a prime example. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this scenario. Obviously, we are missing exactly what was said between the two men, between the car and the store, but is there another way to handle this situation? Did he do the right thing by shooting the guy, or should he have tried to leave more aggressively? I know what I think, but I want to know what you guys think. NeoMag offers a slick solution to discreetly carrying a spare magazine securely in your pocket. Available in small, medium, and large to hold anything from 380 to 10 mil. Also now available are the extended clip versions, which allow you to carry deeper in your pocket or carry your spare mag with an extension. Utilizing strong neodymium magnets, a steel backer, and titanium clips, these things are built to last. To get 10% off your order over at theneomag.com, use the code TGC2018. It's time once again for Friendly Fire, the segment where I answer your questions from all over social media. Our questions are once again coming from the best Facebook group on earth, TGC Nation, link below. Sharon Hinchcliffe says, how do you keep motivated on the fight against gun control? I have a simple answer for that. I go shoot. Knowing how much fun it is and how much I love it, and then knowing that someone wants to take that away from me for no good reason, something that I really enjoy, can't happen, not gonna happen. Ryan Reeser says, do you guys clean your guns every time you shoot them? If not, how often? Adam and I are a very bad example for this. When I started shooting, I cleaned them every single time I went out, thoroughly. But now it's more like I clean them at the range when it stops working in the middle of a video. It's a bad habit of mine to leave guns just absolutely filthy, and I'm working to change that. I still don't think I'll clean them every time, but yeah, more than I currently do would probably be a good call. And our question of the week prize this week is a sweet CZ water bottle. You can see that on screen somewhere. And that one goes to Adam Peterson. He says, what is the most disappointing gun you've ever shot? This is actually a very, very difficult question for me. Usually if a gun is gonna suck, I'm pretty aware of it beforehand, so I can't really be disappointed. I would have to say the Savage A series, their semi-auto rimfire guns that got released a few years ago at SHOT, that was a bit of a letdown. I expected a lot and that didn't come through for me. And I guess the biggest one overall was my Desert Eagle. The same gun that I love probably the most is also my biggest disappointment. Let me explain. I bought the gun as a 3-barrel set, 357, 44, and 50. I was super pumped because I had a 686 and wanted to shoot a semi-auto 357 Magnum. The Kunin actually wasn't around back then, and since the Deagle was heavy as hell, it would be super fun to plink with. I was really jazzed on this. Except for the fact that I could never get it to work. I tried 10 to 15 different kinds of ammo, different bullet types, different charges, etc., but it never would cycle consistently. That was a huge letdown for me because I wanted to have a badass 3-barrel set intact, but I actually ended up selling the 357 a while later because I could never get it to work. So now I've just got the 44 and the 50. My friendly fire question to you guys this week: what is your favorite gun channel under 20,000 subscribers? There are a lot of guys out there making gun videos right now, but who is your favorite under 20K? And hey, if you want to ask a friendly fire question, send that to me over on theguncollective.com. And that is it for this week's show, guys. If you disliked the video, hit that button. If you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, and consider supporting us via those links in the video description. We have an Amazon affiliate store, as well as a link to purchase cool shirts just like this one. Yay, Gun Collective shirts. Woo! Yay, buy one. And as always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. Gun news you actually care about. My name is Jon Patton. Welcome back. I'm going to redo that because I made myself laugh. 150, baby. Love you guys. The shirts worn in today's video on The Gun Collective have been provided by Patriot Patch. Closed captions have also been brought to you by Patriot Patch Company. Be sure to click the link in the video description to check out all of their great products, including their cleaning mats.